Have you ever stood in front of the seafood aisle, staring at sardines, mackerel, and herring, thinking, why are there three names for what looks like the same shiny fish? They're all silvery. They're all oily. They all look like they've been copy-pasted by the ocean. Yet somehow, people insist they're different, and very passionately too, like sports teams or pizza toppings. So today, we're finally untangling this fishy identity crisis. No confusion, no seafood snobbery, just clear answers, surprising facts, and a few laughs along the way. Because if we're talking about fish, we might as well have a good time doing it. I'm Professor Everything, and today we'll be answering the question, what's the difference between sardines, mackerel, and herring? Right here on Explaining Everything. At first glance, sardines, mackerel, and herring seem almost interchangeable. They're all oily fish. They all travel in the ocean, and they all sparkle like they're late to a disco. But biologically and practically, they're not the same thing at all. Sardines is actually a general term, not a single species. It usually refers to small fish, often young pilchards belonging to the herring family. These fish are small, slim, and famously travel in tightly packed schools, like they're afraid of personal space. Herring are their bigger relatives. They belong to the same family as sardines, but grow larger and thicker. Herring are also schooling fish, and their schools can be massive. So massive, in fact, that they've been described as underwater traffic jams made entirely of fish. Mackerel, meanwhile, are the odd ones out. They belong to a completely different family and have a different body shape altogether. They're longer, more muscular, and built for speed. While sardines and herring rely on numbers for safety, mackerel rely on agility and sheer confidence. So, while these fish share the same ocean and similar shiny aesthetics, they are biologically distinct and play very different roles in marine life. Let's zoom in, because this is where the differences become impossible to ignore. Sardines are the smallest of the trio. Most are only a few inches long, with soft flesh and delicate bones that are thin enough to eat. Flavor-wise, sardines are mild and slightly salty, with a tender texture that practically melts. They're oily, but not aggressively so, more like a polite handshake than a dramatic hug. Herring are noticeably larger and firmer. Their flesh is thicker and richer, with a stronger fish flavor than sardines. They're still smooth and oily, but there's more presence there, like a voice that carries across the room without shouting. Mackerel are the heavyweights. They're longer, denser, and far more muscular. Their flavor is bold, rich, and unmistakably fishy. Mackerel doesn't tiptoe onto your taste buds. It kicks the door open and says, "I'm here." This intensity comes from their higher fat content and active lifestyle. Nutritionally, all three are excellent, but with slight differences. Sardines are rich in protein, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin B12, vitamin D, and calcium due to their edible bones. Herring are similarly nutrient-dense, with high levels of omega-3s, vitamin D, selenium, and protein. Mackerel often tops the charts, delivering extremely high omega-3 levels, along with B12, selenium, and niacin. In short, sardines are gentle, herring are hearty, and mackerel are intense in both flavor and nutrition. Here's where things get extra interesting. Despite being small, sardines and herring are some of the most efficient swimmers in the ocean when it comes to energy use. Their streamlined bodies and coordinated schools allow them to travel long distances while barely breaking a sweat, or whatever the fish version of sweat is. Mackerel, on the other hand, are speed specialists. Their torpedo-shaped bodies and powerful tails make them fast, agile swimmers, which is why they're constantly on the move. A resting mackerel is basically an oxymoron. Visually, you can also spot differences pretty easily once you know what to look for. Sardines are plain silver with minimal markings. Herring are brighter and flatter with a slightly deeper body. Mackerel are the fashion icons of the group, sporting dark, wavy stripes along their backs like nature decided they deserved racing stripes. Another fun fact, sardines and herring often get confused because sardines are technically young herring or closely related species. Mackerel, however, are doing their own thing entirely, evolution-wise, like a cousin who skipped the family reunion to train for a marathon. So, what's the difference between sardines, mackerel, and herring? Sardines are small, mild, soft-textured fish that often represent younger or smaller species within the herring family. Herring are larger, richer in flavor, and more robust, while still closely related to sardines. Mackerel are a separate species altogether, bigger, faster, stronger tasting, and nutritionally intense. They may look similar at first glance, but these fish differ in size, biology, flavor, texture, and lifestyle. Same ocean, same shine, but completely different personalities swimming beneath the surface. And now, the next time someone says, "Aren't sardines, mackerel, and herring basically the same?" you can smile and say, "Not even close." And honestly, the fish would be offended. Before you swim away, if this deep dive helped clear up the fishy confusion between sardines, mackerel, and herring, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more fun, fact-check breakdowns of everyday mysteries. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.